ring on a ribbon, dip it in the water, and tie it around her neck, and give her a kiss. And they walk into the center of the ring and kiss and get a picture taken. Very, very special. They have a full orchestra, a formal dinner right out there at that plaza, and after it's all over, they have fireworks over the river.
Wow.
It's quite a night.
They still have miniatures?
Very special time.
They still have miniatures?
All present accounted for. All present accounted for.
Quiver of arrows.
I don't know what my lens.
But it's called Tecumseh, and nobody's really sure why. It could be because they couldn't remember the name Tamaman, or maybe Tecumseh sounds more grave or something.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's called. If you want to walk up the ramp, you can.
Jeez, yours is bigger than mine.
Anybody who ever had kids in college. Which is multiple connected wings. And I'll show you what more of a view when we go upstairs. Let's go to the mall. Tank has a horizontal stripe on the sleeve or the shoulder board. Now, among themselves, then, certain are selected to be officers, like a platoon leader, a company leader, or even brigade commander. So they wear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 stripes. This is John McCain from Arizona, and he's a graduate, as well as, a lot of people don't realize that H. Ross Perot is a naval graduate, and he served in submarines. And there's a crowd who was a 5-star general, admiral. There are 54 astronauts that have been graduates of the Academy, including the first and ever in go up in a rocket. Anybody know who it was? Now, companies. Used to be 36, now there's 33 in the entire brigade. And if you look at old photographs in the old days, they used to have a wooden table in the center with wrought iron lamps and all that kind of stuff. They have different type of gear they have to wear. And most admirals are very hospitable, and sometimes they know a midshipman because their father was in the Navy or whatever, and they sometimes will invite a little company of midshipmen or something to come over and have a little reception on Sunday afternoon. And it's kind of cool to go in there and do that. And so that's what they do. We're going into Bancroft Hall, or not Bancroft, but that was Bancroft Hall, named after the Secretary of the Navy when the Academy was established. They call it Mother B. They don't call it Bancroft Hall. And we're going into Dahlgren Hall, and it's another one of the Ernest Flagg buildings to be impressed with. Part of the Ernest Flagg buildings, 1905 period. And when it's just a beautiful building, that wooden roof. And when it was originally built, the water came right up to the end of the building back there. It's all landfill now, vast fields back there. But they actually bring ships in here, float them down below, small ships, for training purposes. Later, they didn't do that anymore, and they brought gun mounts in here during the World War II era. It's the old idea that if you're an officer, being trained to be an officer, you still should know the weapon, and so they would train on gun mounts. After that, it just became a general assembly area for parts of the brigade. Not all 4,000 fit into one part, but there would be reasons why it would be smaller gatherings. A dance, sometimes there were formal dances in it. In fact, there still are today. Bring in curtains and everything, and it's a really nice venue for having dance. At one time, if you walk over there, you can still see the outline where they had the ice rink. And right next to Arlington Cemetery is an Army base post called Fort Myer. Maybe some of you know it or have been there. And they brought the airplane there, and they did flight demonstrations up on the hill for the President and the Army. And there's actually movies that exist that show them doing that up there. And the Army was so impressed that they signed a contract with the Wright brothers for the first military airplane in America, the actual 1911 B-1 airplane. And it was delivered here, and they built an airstrip right outside the building, right over here. And for several years, they did all kinds of flying, and they set all kinds of records for endurance and 1500s. Officer quarters were also built here for the senior officers, like the department heads. By the way, if you're in the Navy or Marines, this makes a wonderful twilight tour. Pretty nice accommodations and an easy job at the academy. It's a nice way to end your career. Big rooms, 4 stories, And these wonderful porches on the outside, screen porches. And everything is maintained by the Academy for you. You even have garages in the back. And so it's pretty nice. Now, these house right there. So, and there's another row of these in another part of the Academy. So as you walk down here, you can see who has each one. Their names on the step. They're all usually, they're usually at least an 05. Most of them are 06s. And you'll see their biases. Sometimes they're into different sports. Beat Ohio State. We're taking on Ohio State.
Can't believe you.
Seeing everything from the water, and once you step off the boat, you'll step right onto the bus. Okay, so you're gonna have to walk down there anyway. So I'm gonna buy your tickets for everybody. Is that all right?
Yeah, we
Okay.
planned on that.
Well, I know, but some of you were reluctant, so you're not gonna get seasick.
Chesapeake Bay. Annapolis Harbor. Howdy, howdy.
In 1783, the Netherlands became the capital. This was the nation's capital. This is the headquarters for all sailing activities for the men and women of the Academy. The art of sailing is still considered to be important training for the midshipmen. Just beyond the Robert Brown Center is a small river basin known as That is Real Gold. It is a magnificent building which includes the crypt of John Paul Jones, recognized as the first great naval hero in American history. The nearest, Route 450, is known as the Naval Academy. It was completed in creeks in the Chesapeake Bay, such as Slot Creek, from which we began our trip, and there are many rivers, such as the Severn River that we are on now. Not connected with the U.S. Naval Academy. Rear Admiral David Taylor was director of the U.S. Experimental Model Base from AYPs, or yard patrols, and are used by the midshipmen as small, compact training vessels. They are trained high power frequency radio signals that were used by the Navy to communicate with their ships in Newport News. The land across the bay in front of us
and ate there many times, right there in the water. And Sam Middleton also, there was a new college established on the Eastern Shore called Washington College. And it was in Chestertown, Maryland. Beautiful little historic town up there. Looks like these are midshipmen here. They're all females. A good time. Oh, they're going to pass us. This is the marathon team. They're practicing to do a marathon. 26 miles is a long way to run, I think, guaranteed. It's a small school, about 100 or about 1,000 students. They don't have a set curriculum. What they do is they study through the great works of literature, and they all get a Bachelor of Arts degree. First responders, and you can see an EMT technician and a firefighter rushing into a home with a woman down on her knees, probably pleading for them to save somebody inside the room. And typically they'll have someone like the president or the vice president or the secretary of defense that will give the principal address at the graduation, and they'll have the Blue Angels fly over the stadium at the right moment. So it's a very moving ceremony. The thing about going to Baltimore, you'll enjoy it really. You get to see the grave of Edgar Allan Poe.
I wish I knew.
About 7 minutes.
Vice president, and he was the third president of the United States. Now, Mr. Jefferson was a complex and contradictory man. He was a self-taught architect, a scientist, an archaeologist, an educator, a lawyer. He was the governor of Virginia. When asked to list his occupation on a census form, he said farmer. He's the author of the Declaration of American Independence. Queen 5 and 20,000 square feet. So the basic 3 floors of the house is about 5, and then we have the basement, we have the dependencies that are all attached, but not part of this core house. I mean, we've been talking about the fact that this is the only private home in the United States that's on the United Nations World Heritage List. And Thomas Jefferson put those dependencies below grade. He connects them to the house with underground passages, covers the whole thing with terraces, and you can walk from this little building to that little building and not get wet. That little building was the first brick building here at Monticello.
Thomas Jefferson is buried alongside his family beneath the tall obelisk. Jefferson designed the obelisk and wrote the inscription, noting 3 achievements he considered his greatest: author of the Declaration of American Independence, of the Statute of Virginia for Religious Freedom, and father of the University of Virginia. The cemetery is owned by an association of Jefferson's descendants and is still in use by the family.
There's a ramp on the end there if you need it. A ramp instead of.
No, we can make it up.
I don't know how you, okay.
Going over the buffet, it'll just take a minute and then you all are welcome to help yourself. It is Southern style buffet. On the buffet we offer fried chicken, buttermilk biscuits, cornbread, black-eyed pea stew, tomatoes, they go great together. We have mashed potatoes, gravy, green beans, pickled beets, and coleslaw. And for dessert we offer peach cobbler. You will pick that up when you go through the buffet line. And they'll offer you a drink. We have Coke, Diet Coke, Sprite, iced tea, both sweetened or unsweetened. We have milk. We have a really good fresh pressed apple cider. And we have coffee if you'd like. Please come on in and enjoy your lunch. And I'll show you the things.
It is.
And they're still fed us.
This part in here, that's.
This is the wine cellar.
Yeah, she said the house was originally 17 miles from here, and then they took it apart, put it here in 1990, I guess she said.
Really?
So then she said this would have been original, not that.
Wow. It'll be a little difficult to put this back together.
Yeah, very much so.